Hi, my name is Shagun. I'm the founder of Homework Design Studio, a full-service interior design studio for homes. Come on in and let me show you around my personal space, my home. So this is our main living space, the drawing room, the dining area. I like to keep a space warm, aesthetic and soulful. You'll see that there's not a lot of colored walls. I get the color in my spaces from my artwork, from the upholstery, from our carpets and from all the greens that are around. The only thing that I have done, and I do love, and we do them in almost a lot of our home projects, are the red brick walls or white brick walls. I feel like they add some character. Now, this home has been built over time. It's not something that I did in one go. We've had collections from years. So this console was when we were young managers in Bombay. I bought this, I think, at the Chor Bazaar. I loved it. I've not changed anything about it. Not the color of the console, I just repolish it. Not the handles and the knobs. Just love how this whole piece was just so artistic. Right here is a painting that I bought in Kerala. I spent 6 hours at a store. I love collecting art, and this one was just, I wasn't sure if it was talking to me, but I spent 6 hours in the store and then finally bought it. As you walk around here, now, I like to change my home around very often. So this is a more recent setup, and I have created this little corner here. Again, put another console here with all little knickknacks and a lot of plants. The plants and all of this is to hide my wires at the back. I thought, I just hate loose wires everywhere. And this one lone chair here is for me every morning so that I can just have a cup of coffee in my own little space and my green space. So I absolutely love how this place has really set up this time around. As you walk here, this is our dining table. Again, I have conventionally placed it very differently. Most people would put it like this, but I like the idea of it right here. And this is our bar, which is also like a buffet counter. I didn't want a conventional bar where you're standing behind and serving. We did this in a PU finish and added a beautiful wallpaper for some effect and a really interesting stone. So this particular art piece we got on a sale. It's African art, and the minute we saw it, both me and my husband, we were like, we've got to get this. There's something very, if you look at this closely, the story that it's telling you is the mother, in spite of all the children, has this smile. They're not very wealthy, but there's just so much, each expression of the child, the mother, and a general sense of happiness in spite of having very little. So I think that's what attracted me to this piece of art. This light here is something that I bought last summer from Turkey. Carried it and lugged it around because I was so scared of breaking the glass, but it all worked out well. This piece of art was bought from Jaisalmer. The artist was actually painting right there, right? Like he was painting and I was watching him. And wherever you stand, wherever in this room that you're standing, you'll always feel like this man is looking at you. That artist was so talented. I absolutely was just so taken with him. He was doing this, he'd done it in a blue also, but I thought the yellow kind of talked to me a lot more. Now here is this main living space. So here's my brick wall that I was talking about, and this is what we do in many, many homes as well. This green mirror I bought again of some flea market. It was not green, it was really dilapidated, and then I restructured it and did it. A lot of people will find my red sofa so loud, but I love how the red really stands out in the space. And what we've done here is we've created seating for about 7 people just in this space, because not everybody sits, but I wanted just one large 3-seater simply because on that 3-seater mostly 2 people sit, right? And then unconventionally I've done single seats, which I feel are so much more comfortable to sit at different heights for different people, different things work, right? These chairs are from one of my favorite stores, Sarita Handa, and it's a funny story. We went to buy cushion covers. I went with my husband on this one rare occasion, and instead of buying cushion covers, which would have been far cheaper, we came back with 2 really expensive chairs. I don't regret it, but I mean, the fact is that that's what we went to do. This has a funny story too, and a really weird story. So my husband, in collaboration with a very dear friend of mine from Kanpur, one day, God knows what their conversation was, but one day I have this massive courier box that lands up, and when I open it, there's a saddle inside it, this leather saddle. So I called my husband, I was like, what is this? So he said, I want to get a bar stool made. So I was like, okay, what's the design? What's the plan? There was no real plan. So for 10 years, this saddle moved from car boot to loft, trying to figure out what to do. And then more recently, 2 years ago, through our in-house furniture factory, we made this. Everybody talks about it the minute they walk into the house. It is, for half an hour, this is conversation piece. So in a sense, I feel like, homes should have things that one can talk about. And this has become that talking piece, and everybody tries to get a picture on it, by the way, because it's just funny to get a picture on whatever this is, supposed to be a bar stool. So I really want to talk about carpets. I think even when we do homes, I find it very hard to convince people to buy carpets, because there's this general belief that carpets will collect dust and they create heat. I don't think so. Yes, they are dust collectors, but today with the kind of vacuum cleaners that one has, it is so easy to keep them clean. And I do believe that carpets bring a space cohesively together and really make a space feel warm and inviting. And I do think it's a very important thing, right? For me, it's always been growing up. My mother, my father, my grandparents were big collectors. In fact, the 2 carpets, these 2 main carpets are Kashmiri silk carpets, which I have inherited from my grandparents. Right here is my very first painting that ever came into the house. This was at our wedding, a gift from my grandparents. It's Lord Krishna, and that's the depiction of it. It's a very beautiful painting and something that I absolutely cherish and love. So this is our family room. I feel like every home should, if it has the luxury of space, and if you have an extra room, having a family room is a really important thing. And if you don't have the space, creating a corner in your home to make it a family room is also just a nice way for all of you to sit together and do different things that you like. So this was a mini renovation that I just undertook very recently, in fact, and I am a big one for reusing things that I have owned for years as well. So this here was actually part of a L-shaped sofa that used to be in the family room previously, and I converted it to make one part of it just the L kind of bit I used now in this family room, and I changed the upholstery to this beautiful pink that I like. I have my little music system here, this window here, and I've created this whole green space because I like to read. So I like to be able to sit here if I'm not watching television, to be able to read and look out at the beautiful green instead of the buildings. So I've kind of done this whole camouflage. This is another sofa that I've again like refurbished God knows how many times. It was much higher, then much lower, then came to this height. We changed the arms, and more recently I moved it out of the sitting room and brought it here. More recently, and this is actually as recent as 2 weeks ago, our in-house carpentry team at Homework has made this beautiful chest of drawers for me. I feel like homes should be functional. Everything must have a space. I don't particularly like to build homes just for the show of it. Everything must have a place where you can keep it. And so therefore, for me, this chest of drawers, apart from the fact that it's beautiful and made with this beautiful teak wood and polished in this lovely color, it's also about everything that it stores in it for me. And I have to talk about some of the art in this room. This is a really special piece because it's made by my mom. My mom's an artist, and I wish she would paint a lot more, but I know that I have a lot of stuff that she has painted. So this, for example, is something that she did. This right here is another piece that she has done. And then finally, this one I think she gifted me on my last birthday. Let me walk you into my master bedroom. Now, I think that master bedrooms shouldn't be over-cluttered because that's the space you come to unwind and relax. Yet, they must be functional and have everything that you need. So for me, this is my master bedroom. I did need a study table because I work from home also sometimes. I need to work here. So that having this table here was really important for me. The walls have family pictures of us over time, and it just makes me feel really good when I'm sitting on the table, I'm reflecting, I look up and I look at family pictures. It just makes me feel really warm. This bed right here is one of the oldest possessions that we have. When we were young hoteliers, this bed was made by a local carpenter who used to work at hotels through my friend who was at the time in housekeeping. It's a really sturdy bed. It's moved a lot and it's done well, but I really think it's time to change it. Not because it's broken or anything, it's because I make so many beds for people and I keep thinking that I would love to have a new bed. But I've been struggling with this idea for a year, but I haven't gotten down to it. We don't pay attention to passageways as much, do we? But I have to say that, like I said, this is a rented space. So whoever thought of this, thought of it brilliantly. It's not my idea, but the person who built this massive wardrobe space. Yes, the colors on this were really weird at the time when I took this house over. They were blue and yellow, and that was just freaking me out. So I converted it to something more, muted, and it doesn't feel like a cupboard as you walk in, but it has the most brilliant storage ever. Also, this space is about our family photos and again some art that I have collected. These pieces I bought actually in Kerala again on that trip, and they were just strewn around. I love silhouettes, right? Like I just love how silhouettes look, and these were just like lying around, and I bought these for a steal and I absolutely love them. Just find them so artistic. This is the most special room for me. It's my son's room, who now has gone off to college, so he only comes on vacation. But his room is super special, and it's his space, and it's done again with functionality and keeping everything that he likes in mind. This was, he loves playing football, And so this is his shirt that we bought from him when we went to Spain, with his name and all of that, and I got it framed. We've got a queen size bed for him. I again removed the old headboard and gave him a larger headboard. The room is pretty much in grays and blues. That's the structure that I have kept. You know, having this dark ceiling, I was really worried about it, but I have to say, when he's not here and I watch TV and I spend time in his room and I lie and look up, I feel like it's such a great effect to have a colored ceiling. So this here is our guest room. It's also my husband's room where he gets ready, his bathroom, he has his own space. So it needed to be functional even for him to keep his things properly. So of course we've got a little bookshelf. Normally this is a little more strewn than it's looking right now because his belt and his cufflinks and everything comes off, and this is where he keeps it. But you know, that's important. A home must be a home at the end of the day and not a showpiece. This I really want to talk about. So this is something that I have done really recently. It was an old cupboard in which my son's trophies used to lie, but my husband has really needed a space where he can keep his golf set, keep his papers, all of that. So what I did was I restructured this cabinet. I basically pulled off all the shelves. I put rattan here to give it that lovely warm effect, because I love how rattan or cane looks. And inside, I created space so he could keep away his things. So this would be a space where he could keep his golf set or his squash rackets or whatever he needs. And then papers wherever he needs to keep the papers. So I really want to talk about what I've done here. These are moldings that you get. We were introduced to this concept by a client, and I will forever be grateful to her for introducing me to this, because I have been using it a lot in all my projects. And more recently, when I redid this room and I was refurbishing this room, I decided, instead of the regular put a veneer and put a frame sort of thing around a window AC, I wanted it to be a little more artistic. So that's how I got these moldings put. So first I started by saying, okay, I'll just do one round. Then I was like, oh, it's not looking so great. And I did another round. So, and I think that it's looking lovely. In fact, I had someone over yesterday and they were like, this is such a good idea. Like, you should be doing it everywhere. So yeah, that was the story behind the AC. This is art prints that I bought on my recent trip to Sri Lanka. I was like, they looked so good, even though they were prints. I don't normally buy prints, but I know that this piece and this other piece right here, look at that, the fisherman. It was such a nice piece. Balconies are very important spaces for me, even in all my projects. So it's not a wonder that when we moved into this house, I was going to redo this balcony. So we redid this floor. I love this brown floor because it's not too much, yet it's got a little something on it. Having a little seating space and all my plants is really something that I love looking at and enjoying. I spend a lot of time on my balcony, having coffee, having drinks, sitting and chatting with friends. It's a big place for me. These lights right here, they were actually gifted to me by a client whose home I finished, and then we went on to become really good friends. So, that was done by her. This beautiful plant was gifted to me by my horticulturist, who actually helps me with all my landscaping work, Sonia, who gifted me this beautiful plant. It was far fuller with the bougainvillea, not so much anymore, but it was like a special gift for me. I like using a lot of ceramic planters, so I don't, I like to keep that look of the ceramic, and love how all my plants kind of stack up like that. If you were here in the evening, you would see how the lighting plays out. but you know, it's fine. You can see it during the day. Having a little seating here for coffee, tea. This was again given by a client as a gift more recently, whose home that I finished. And it was actually sent for Oreo, my dog, who barely ever sits on it other than the first few times out of novelty. Now we just kind of use it to put our legs up. Again, little things that I thought about, putting shelves on which I could have plants all over the place. But what's super special is my ladder. I made this ladder for the very first time for a client of mine, and I absolutely loved it. And I was like, the next time I move house, this is something that I'm definitely gonna do. So I actually have this creeper, which is eventually supposed to grow all over this. It's really growing in slow motion, but it should eventually grow. And then I have lighting, and it looks really pretty in the evening. So this is an important green space for me. I also do a lot of balcony makeovers as part of our design studio, and I really spend time on thinking about how I want that balcony to look. Thanks so much for watching. For more such content, subscribe for LBB's Homely newsletter.